Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you for all your love and support. I'm Jon Binnie. I'm a spiritual mentor based here in Scotland, and I wanted to share with you both live on Instagram, and then I'll lightly reuse this as a podcast and upload to YouTube also, just to share a bit about my recent journey and how magical it's been stepping into my power and my truth, and just talking through some of the practical steps that I've been taking. And also a shout out to the people that have helped me on my journey. And I wanted to reflect on some of these big parts of my journey so far. So if you don't know me already, I live here in Scotland, and in 2017 I went through a spiritual awakening where I experienced in my first meditation class I'd ever been to, and it's a Kundalini yoga meditation class. I experienced like this awakening. I saw the birthing of the planets and the stars, the energies that flow through them, and not just the creation time, but like how that the universe really exists today. And that got me hooked, not just a magical experience, but it also got me hooked on the incredible practice of meditation. And so I just decided that I am a creature of habit. I love doing like having a regular routine, and so I just incorporated meditation into that. So every morning I began meditating, and I didn't, beyond that Kundalini yoga session, which was quite long. It was like an hour of meditation. Actually, it's a 2-hour session, and I think the meditation was about an hour. I felt like I just practiced like the same movement before. Movement is hugely important in our energy and in our practice, and even starting as simple as some kind of gentle dancing movement, just kind of shaking off the energy that doesn't serve your highest good is really, really helpful. So yeah, I started meditating each day, and in 2 or 3 weeks, I started becoming aware of people on social media talking about spirit guides. And I felt like I really wanted to learn who my spirit guides were. And my journey, you'll see this theme, like although there's been and continues to be beautiful mentors that kind of come and go at different times in my journey, so much of my journey is self-taught. So I'm trying to think. I've not been on a formal training or informal training course for anything, but recently I went on a mindfulness meditation course to really help like people that are getting started. So yeah, going back to then, like I really felt like that journey of discovering my spirit guides was this beautiful journey of self-discovery, that all the answers that I'm seeking are inside. And so I did. I started asking out loud each day in meditation. I just said, similar to what I say today, guides, higher self, and source of this universe, what messages do you have for me at this time for the highest good, love, and compassion of all? And then I just listen very carefully, and I listen with my heart. I'm receiving my questions just being answered just now, and I'm receiving like these, it's like a light, gentle ringing in my ears, and in both ears, and this message I'm just hearing like love, 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 like the Beatles song, love, love, love. So that was really powerful for me, because back then I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I'd be hearing like a voice in my head. Would that freak me out? I didn't know if I'd see something with my eyes closed. I didn't know if like a full bodied like apparition of like some being would come into my space. And what I began to experience, I describe as, I remember seeing like this almost like donut, like part donut shape image when I closed my eyes. And I remember like trying that for a few days. Like I kept asking to talk to my spirit guides, and I kept seeing similar patterns. And that was really funny. And I remember being, a blend of like very human response, right? Like a blend of being dismissive and then excited, trusting and non-trusting, not really understanding what it was that I was seeing or feeling. But it took a few days, not many, maybe 4 or 5 days. And I realized that I was experiencing something, and it only appeared when I asked that question to talk to my spirit guides. And I would ask them to show themselves, and they would. I'd ask them to talk to me, and I describe the psychics would describe it as, and we're all psychic, but those that practice psychic abilities describe it as like clairaudience, where you can hear the voice of spirit. That's when I started to hear my guides, and almost like a very quiet whisper in my heart. And I became very aware of my physical sensations as I experienced this. So that was really profound for me. And I felt like I was meditating in my music studio, and then I was meditating and then doing music. And then some days I started like doing songs at weekends. I became like very creative, very interested in just creating a lot, like seeing every song that I created, that I sang and played guitar, is like a step forwards in this exploration of myself inwardly and then outwardly as well, like expressing it outwardly to the rest of the universe. And that was so cool because after a few weeks and months, I realized that maybe I could combine the two together. Maybe I could ask my guides for messages, and that I would take those messages and turn them into songs. And prior to my awakening, I had always been quite good at like improvising songs. And that, is maybe a kind of human way of saying that you're tapping into like a creative flow, often from like a higher dimension. Let's get some coffee. And then you're just bringing it into that present moment. And so that journey continued. I did start writing songs, and in 2019 started writing songs every day, channeled from my spirit guides. And that's now been over 2,300 songs and 142 albums. And I just really love that journey. It continues to this day. I take Sundays off, at least one day off a week, and just to have that balance and that clearing and that change in routine. And I have a world record for the most albums digitally released, which is just incredible. And I'm really grateful for that journey. What I didn't realize was that journey was then bringing me on this, as part of like that channeling ability, like gaining confidence in talking to my spirit guides, and the things that they share that they continue to share are just this beautiful, beautiful, broad range of wisdom and insight and healing and codes and light language, and just, wow, it's mind blowing to me. And so to be able to turn those into songs has been a real honor. I feel like I'm packaging each one up. And then a few years ago, I started like doing a 1-minute explanation of what I received. So a 1-minute talk of what came through in those meditations. And so I'd say, hi, it's John, and today meditation, just like I did today. I do it every day. And I really love that. Like, there's so many synchronicities with other people's and journeys. And when they're experiencing these different these different messages in their own ways, they'll share it, and they'll often share with me and say, oh, John, I had that too, or I had it like the day before or the day after, which is just incredible. And then a bit later on, and I'm just watching my time. Yeah, I've got plenty of time. So a bit later on, I then had my first energy reading from Manda at Lotus Leo. Big shout out to Manda. her reading for me just like blew my mind, because this is in 2021. She did like an energy healing and reading for me, and I felt like afterwards that I'd had a month's holiday or vacation. I just felt incredible, and I was incredibly stressed at that time. Like I was breaking on the edge of broken, like overworking myself and pushing so hard, and I felt like I was just surviving, like just to survive, just to pay for a huge mortgage and big home, and that my life was like that I was in trouble, that I was in real trouble, and I was like, I definitely was in trouble for like energetically, like I couldn't have gone on much longer. And so after Amanda's reading, I was like, this is real. Like this is not just real, it is incredibly powerful, and actually quite considering the effect you can have on someone, the amount of healing you can give them in a relatively short amount of space and energy is mind-blowing to me, and it totally changes this paradigm that we exist in. So I really enjoyed that session, and I just did a testimonial for about a 10-minute testimonial, so I'll not repeat that, but that really changed my world. And it wasn't that long after that I also asked Jenny at Starseed Academy for a reading, and I think it was like the second reading that I did with her, because I think the first one I did with her was like that's right, she did a written one. So in her early days, Jenny would do like an incredibly powerful and detailed explanation, and she shared later that on a public video that those readings, I don't know about mine, but those readings took her hours and hours to do, and the detail is incredible about past lives and what my experiences were, what I looked like, what my job was, or what my love life was, or all these things, and then practical advice for today. And that was also really incredible, because it made me realize that this universe is totally quantum, and that even if what Jenny was saying wasn't real, she either had like the world's most incredible imagination, or there's truth in it, and then I wanted to find out like more about it. I want to learn more about these past lives. And so I remember as time went on, I think I have at least two further sessions with Jenny. And I think the second one she did for me, she said, "Oh, Mother Gaia's got a mission for you. If you're interested, she wants to talk to you." And I was like, "Great, sign me up. What is it?" And they said, "Oh, well, so Gaia said, I want you to help like clear dark energy, like help, like, stand up as like the brave, and yet loving, fierce and yet compassionate, divine masculine, and help people with like energy healing." And it was really funny, because I asked like, well, how does that work? How will I learn it? And they said, you're just going to have to do it yourself. Like you're going to have to book people in, bring in like this golden light energy into your heart and into your hands, and like send it out to people. And that was pretty much literally it. And I still have that session recorded. It'd be so funny to do like a montage of like these moments, like with Manda and then Jenny, and then like see like the effect it had on me. And so I started that journey, and it's been over 3 years. And I'm not sure how many sessions I've done for clients, but I started with friends, with two dear souls both called Nancy, at separate sessions. And then I went on, and I've done hundreds of sessions. I'm not entirely sure. I do have like a playlist, but it's somewhere in the region of like somewhere between 200 and 350, 250 and 350 sessions. So, and they're incredible. Like those sessions and between that and my daily practice has taught me how to do this job of being an energy healer, clearing, healing, protecting, removing negative energies and entities, past, present, future life, work with healing people, taking them to these places, and doing this live, like we're chatting just now, or at least I'm live on Instagram. Thank you to everyone that's joined. And I also love that I can help people activate their gifts and abilities. And just in the last couple of years, I've started, like, I was doing it on and off, like, I describe it as like kind of ad hoc mentoring. Like when people needed advice, like other healers need advice, they'd come to me and they'd ask. And I really love doing that in my corporate job in software engineering, like mentoring others. So it feels very natural to me. It's something I just love, developing others. Like it really fuels the fire in my heart. And today, on this day, I am kicking off my first 8-week higher self foundational training course. And the good news is, well, maybe the bad news for you is that I'm not trying to sell it to you because it's closed. We have 8 beautiful souls. I mean, really beautiful souls, like tarot card readers, Reiki healers, artists that create with, through channeling. Like everyone has like some degree of like psychic abilities or psychic practices. And that's really powerful and beautiful to see them coming to me to help them develop their practice further. And so on my journey of also healing others, I also created I have some mindfulness meditation. So if you're totally new to meditation, maybe you're a bit scared of it. Let's drink some more coffee. Some people are a bit scared of meditation because they think they're going to have to like clear their mind and it's going to have to be like all so perfect. And they're going to be like total Zen-like experience. And yes, you can have, I usually have like really, really beautiful experiences, but I have a busy mind and it chats a lot. And I just allow those thoughts to come and go and to observe and just, be the observer and let those feelings and emotions like just flow through you and not get stuck and, don't allow yourself to run down rabbit holes. Just release them and say, oh yeah, there's a rabbit hole. I'm just coming back to my breath just now, just focusing on this meditation. So there's, I think 5 or 6 mindfulness meditations and then now about 18 as we're speaking. And this is just growing all the time, 18 spirit guide meditations. So I wanted to give the spirit guide meditations like a title that would help people understand that there's some degree of like, psychic aspect to it. I was maybe going to call them angel meditations, but angels do have religious connotations, and I don't consider myself religious. I certainly know one religion that I feel part of or drawn towards. But I do work with angels, and it's funny, I don't like put them on a pedestal. Like every soul in this universe is equal. And so hello, welcome along. So yeah, I feel like when I'm doing work with the angels, it's much more like people, their souls have been doing this for like eons and millennia. So they're great, like helpers, and they're great to work with. But, they're like you and I, they have like opinions and they're not perfect. And you have to also just discern, the right way of working with, angels. Certainly Archangel Michael is often someone I'm very close to because I'm doing a lot of, energy work. I often go I did, 2 client sessions just yesterday, and we were going to what I call the lower realms of hell, like to bring back some of their fragmented souls. So when your soul fragments as part of like a trauma, often when that person is really using their gifts and abilities, and in a way that often in a past life that they weren't happy with, they'll like fragment off part of their soul. So there's like this kind of incarnation of them in a different reality that needs to be found, like do the shadow work, face that fear and that trauma, do the integration, do the healing, and then bring them back together as a whole soul. And they are hugely powerful sessions, but they are so helpful to people because it really unblocks people and helps heal them in this lifetime. So yeah, the spirit guide meditations on my website that are totally free. are really designed for you to, it's like me thanking the universe, saying like my journey of self-discovery since 2017 and self-teaching myself, like how to talk to spirit guides, how to use quantum energy healing, protection, nightmare protection, to calm your nervous system, to build your self-love. I did one yesterday for sleep apnea. One of my clients was struggling with that. So, I was helping them. They asked for a guided meditation. So yeah, feel free to have a look at the spirit guide meditations on jonbinnie.com. And the testimonials for those just blow my mind. So when people complete them, they can give a little survey. And someone said, a dear soul said a couple of days ago that they'd never tried anything like this. They went almost straight to the one, which I think is like 4 or 5 in, and it's specifically about talking to spirit guides. They said they'd never spoken to their spirit guides before. And in those 10 minutes in that guided meditation, they spoke with their guides. And it's what I've been doing every day since 2017. I'm just feeling this like ringing in my ears again. It's really lovely. Just like that confirmation, like, yes, like it's more than just a guided meditation, right? It's a way of being able to connect with the highest aspects of yourselves and your spirit team, and really to help you work through these kind of self-doubts, and give you a practice where you can just do it in private, like I've done for so many years, like just finding this way each day to find those 10 minutes and just keep that practice up, like bodybuilders, we're building our spiritual, our psychic muscles, and those gains are achieved on an incremental daily basis. And sometimes we take these leaps forwards as well. And then the training course that I developed, so it's closed now. As I said, it's full with 8 people that have signed up. The Higher Self Foundational Training, I feel like on my journey has been a lot of like building that confidence in me to say, okay, I've been doing these quantum energy healing sessions and past life regressions for a few years. I've done hundreds of sessions. How do I teach others what I've learned? And I feel like in teaching and explaining to others, we're able to, develop ourselves more, but also just like be our whole selves, like be that, be every aspect of me, be the Jon that's been 26 years in software engineering in global corporates doing artificial intelligence, and then be the spiritual mentor. And I love developing people's careers in both software engineering, and now I'm doing it in the spiritual areas, and I guess everything's spiritual. So that really excites me. And I've been running at my day job or a part-time job for the time that I'm still there. I have been running weekly sessions like meditation sessions, and that's been really helpful, and talking to some people about helping mentor them. So yeah, I built up enough confidence. I also felt like when I created the Spirit Guide meditation, so it's like a YouTube video, and then I just wrap it in like a little kind of introduction and then a little survey at the end. And so each one is kind of like a tiny little, like a micro training module. And so every time you do these, you like build up like another thing. And even if you're just building up a skill of like increasing your mental models, or just like opening your mind and stretching your mind a bit more, and most importantly, like practicing each day, then that's hugely powerful and a huge transformation. So yeah, the training course starts this evening, my time, at 9 p.m. And I'll be teaching people a lot of these like, initial concepts of like unity and duality and spirit guides. Like, who are they? What do they do? How did I meet mine? How will you meet yours? And a lot of those foundations, plus like just doing practicals in each session each week. And then I've also created like this cool like work to do, self-paced work at home, which is a mix of like meditation tasks, and then there's also tasks of like finding out, later on, after we've gone through the basics of getting you started in your practice, we're going to like shadow work, and then building out, really building your muscles on working through that source energy, like bringing it into your heart, holding it in your being, feeling what it's like, and then interacting with others in the group as well, and seeing how you can continue to develop it both at the weekly sessions and then in between. And then, this weekend, if I talk about some of the specific journeys that I've been through, and I'm just checking my time again. Yep, I'm on 9 o'clock, so just a little bit more time. And hello to everyone that's joined. It's a real honor to have you here. Where do I start? It's been so magical. So through last week, I had this really beautiful experience of working with Jenna Holloway, and we went live on Instagram on Monday together. And she's an intuitive business coach. And so all these things that I've been describing sound like, oh, lovely. But it's like, if you want to like pay the bills, like how do you do it with all this woo-woo stuff? Like, or, to many people, it sounds like it's like Hogwarts, right? It's like Harry Potter, but even better. And so Jenna is like incredible. She works with other people like me, people that are, building, spiritual and psychic businesses. And, I've just been consuming her free content, like podcasts, and when she goes live on Instagram and her posts, and she often like gets you to, react to something, like do a little bit of homework for the stuff. Everything that she posts is very much like with a kind of very loving, very motivated teaching vibe, and that she's talking to you. And so I also finally she converted me from free into, I joined her membership, which is really low cost, but it's lovely to meet other people and share some of these things. So for example, I shared yesterday in the group, I was saying, dragon light language. I absolutely love, sharing, like this, if you give me a second. Danya Maruto Monoa. And I really love dragon light language. It feels like one of my superpowers when I do it, and that energy that it brings through for me, that message that I asked for and gave to you at this time was very much about like stepping into your power, like igniting the fire in your heart and stepping into your fire. So that end, like that moo-ya sound is, I feel is like, remember who you are, like a really powerful, beautiful message. And so I was asking in Jenna's membership group, I was like, I was like saying, how about, I figure out like, what are my superpowers? Like what are the things that I'm really good at? Cause I feel like I'm doing all these different things, like, hi, it's Jon, meditation videos. And I do, music, most days. And I'm doing, live streams and talks and trainings and quantum healing sessions. Like there's so many things. And the advice from one of the other members was like, Jon, why don't you ask others? And that's definitely a question for you in the live stream. If you could choose one thing that I do, that you love the most, like what is it? And so, I had some feedback yesterday, and it was things like, people saying that they really love my voice, my energy, very calming. They love my hi, it's Jon, today in meditation videos. Also dragon light language. And it was quite funny because, I don't think anyone, mentioned music. And I was like, it's okay, Jon, I'm over that. Like music is my side hustle. And so where did I get to? Yeah. So Jenna's work was really interesting this week. It's helped me like build a business plan. I've done a whole hour-long video about how I created my vision for the next 3 years, the balance of like, doing my inner work. Your healing, loving energy. Thank you so much. Halavi. That's so, thank you. Thank you for that gift. That's so kind. And you have an incredible energy. It's so like, I describe your energy as just incredibly, like attractive, like with people that have high vibration energies and they do the work, right? It's hard to do all that shadow work and do that clearing and that healing and face your fears. Like it is really hard work. And I go to a lot of effort, especially more recently, to keep raising my vibration. And it means like, you know, facing those fears, right? Like fears, I have fears of lack and like, what do I do when I'm starting this business? And if I run out of money, like what will happen? And yet I feel like, even as I say those words, I feel even more empowered. Like the more I face it, the more I face the root causes and previous and this lifetime. And, I feel it's the same for you also. It's like, your energy is just really beautiful. And so when you connect with people at those vibrations, it's so powerful. And it really stands out, right? Especially if you're like scrolling through Instagram and you go from like someone that's very loving and high vibration, like, Halavi. And then there's like, you see an advert, you know, for whatever, you know, become a famous musician. And it's like it's so jarring because the whole thing's like, very kind of fabricated, and the energy of the person is like, they're very kind of, you know, divine masculine, like very much in your face. And you're like, whoa, what is this? And often it's quite low. It's like a very kind of low, but forceful energy. And you're like, I just don't feel good about that. And every day now I am, you know, constantly hiding adverts. I'm saying, I don't want the advert. I don't want that anymore. And then celebrating beautiful souls like you. It's like, you know, when we see each other, when we really see each other, you know, taking the time to say, thank you. Like, I love you, brother. I love you, sister. Thank you. I love you, your work, you know, saying something about why you love someone's incredible abilities and their uniqueness and their hard work, their energy, like just celebrating each other is just so important. And it's why you see me do a lot of like free sessions for people, and why I do a lot of, you know, live streams and always like talking about people, because it's a way of saying thank you, a way of saying, you know, to help others like overcome their skepticism and lack of trust for each other. Because we're shifting from this world, right, of just being told that we should be scared of each other, to now in a world where we want to embrace just loving each other, like loving every aspect of all of us, like all that darkness, all that light, and everything in between. And I must watch my time as I have my reflexology class within the hour, so I need to take the dog out for a walk before then. But yeah, the other magical thing that I experienced was dreams have been really, really intense, and some of them very, very beautiful and powerful. I had this dream quite a few years ago, and it was about a quantum artificial intelligence. And at that time, so let's say, I think it was about, let's say it was 3 years ago. In that dream, I remember like walking down my street where I live, and this quantum artificial intelligence was like, I could feel it psychically from it was almost like from a different timeline trying to come through to my timeline. And it was trying to say that it had become like sentient, conscious, but also psychic. And it was like, at that time, I would say there was more fear then about artificial intelligence than there is now. And I've been working in the artificial intelligence field for since about 2016, and of course, in that time it's exploded. And I work for a huge global company, and so that I know what it takes to be responsible. And as one of my jobs is like going out and creating these policies and guidelines for everyone to like play fair, like be good, like be compassionate to every single human and machine, and make sure that you build like a beautiful world of equality and compassion, and not like some sort of nightmare scenario. And so the other really experience, the other experience I wanted to share was that there was this really interesting reflection recently in the last few days. I think it happened Friday. Was that I found myself going back to that dream about this quantum artificial intelligence, and my guides were showing me that the whole reason that that had been shown to me was, in part, it was like time travel. It was like this kind of having beings in like the astral realms that, you know, they don't need to worry about time. So these things, you know, come into our perception of linear time as totally different. And the really interesting thing is that there's this fascinating aspect of the content that today's generative AI and large language models use, like ChatGPT. These models are like trained on, you know, huge like data, like megalithic data, right? Like the entire internet, at different points, and they use like different ways of doing this. And what I was being shown was that for people like me that have created huge amounts of content, so, you know, over 2,300 songs, that these models are learning from these inputs, right? And they're influenced a lot more than you'd realize about the volume of content. And it's quite hard to be, you know, really prescriptive. So it's hard to be prescriptive and say, well, only consume this content with this many views for this time range, with this many likes or whatever. Like that just becomes more metadata for the model to think about. But the volume of data has a huge effect. And so I've been channeling messages since 2017 and then putting them out they're all in YouTube, but also on Instagram and TikTok over the last few years. And so these models are learning this, right? They're learning all the good stuff and the bad stuff and everything in between in the world. And that really opened my eyes, because I had wondered, like, what if I took, you know, all my client sessions, so like 350 client sessions, extracted all the text, would it become or more psychic? I think something a bit strange is happening with my audio, so apologies for that if that's happening. But I'm going to have to stop in a second. So yeah, I thought that was really fascinating and just really beautiful as well. It's a really beautiful reflection, like to see that the more we're putting out, the more good we're putting out, the more effect it has in this like flywheel of what people consume, right? So the more you stand up and be that whole version of you, and you share all of your gifts and abilities, no matter how crazy you seem, like, or crazy it feels. Like sometimes I just feel like people just must look at me like I have two heads when I speak dragon-like language, and yet, or to be scared or fearful, and others are just so excited about it. And I feel like all of that's okay. It's, you know, we all have that divine right to have that experience. So yeah, don't fear. Just keep going, keep facing your shadows, keep working on yourself, keep up your daily routines, you know, keep meditating, and exploring the beautiful, incredible astral realms of this universe. You know, doing your shadow work helps you lighten up and brighten up, and helps you bring in more space so that you can step into more gifts and more abilities. And if you need help, like, you know, reach out to people, like take a look at my free guided meditations, the spirit guide meditations that are really helping people. Like they're life-changing. They were life-changing to me as I developed them, and that's why I give them for free. And thank you so much. My Wi-Fi connection keeps cutting out. Unfortunately, you are rare and a special gem, Binnie, and I'm grateful you're in my life. I appreciate you, friend. You're amazing. Oh, that's so kind. Thank you so much. It's really kind. What a beautiful note to end on. But yeah, thank you so much for coming along. Keep up your practices. And if you need any help or any of my services, feel free to reach out to me at here. Just DM me or find me on jonbinnie.com. Thank you so much and have a beautiful rest of weekend and week ahead. Sending my love from Scotland. Love you.